CTV's Jeremie Charron joins me now with more on this. So, Jeremie, where do things stand right now?
Well, Renee, as you've touched on, negotiations are ongoing. Canada Post says it has put forward its final offer. The union says that it believes Canada Post is not negotiating, that it's just playing hardball. But it would appear the two sides are far apart still at this point, although back at the negotiation table, which is a positive sign. The latest offer includes a $1,000 signing bonus for urban employees and $500 for rural employees. It also would put an end to compulsory overtime. And remaining unchanged in that latest offer is a 14% wage increase. That's over 4 years, a cumulative wage increase. And the company would plan to move forward with hiring part-time employees to cover off expanding weekend parcel delivery. That's something Canada Post has been pushing for to remain relevant, to remain competitive against other companies in the market. As well as dynamic routing. That would mean that, a courier's route would change on a daily basis depending on demands, something the union is pushing back against. Those three last things are kind of the key sticking points in negotiations: wage increases, part-time staff to fulfill weekend parcel delivery services, and the dynamic routing, which the union is pushing back against. But the key issue here for the union is that they're negotiating with an employer and a crown corporation that is clearly losing money, that has not been financially successful for some time. They've lost billions of dollars over the last several years, $1.3 billion last year, and had to take out a federal loan, $1 billion federal loan, to cover operating costs this year. That is the challenge that the union is facing when it pushes back, when it stands firm in its demands. It's facing an employer that simply is stating it doesn't have the ability to meet a lot of those demands. And we've seen some of that pointed out and outlined in a recent report from a federal mediator who outlined some of the necessary changes that Canada Post would have to make to remain viable. And that is kind of the challenge they're facing at this point. So the big question remains, Renee, what's it going to take to get these two to come to an agreement at the negotiating table? And is it possible for that to happen before we see further action taken by the union? As you touched on, they're in a strike position, a legal strike position as of Friday. So far, they've moved forward with an overtime ban, but have not issued any kind of strike notice or anything like that. In an effort to minimize impact on Canadians. That's what the union has said. So the big question is, what progress, if any, can happen at the negotiating table over the next few days, as I think widespread Canadians are hoping that we can avoid any kind of disruption here.
A tricky thing to navigate for both parties involved. That is CTV's Jeremie Charron reporting for us from Ottawa.